I've actually wanted to be an architect ever since second grade. My grandfather was in construction, and so when I was helping him do building projects and stuff around his property, he asked me, what I enjoyed most about construction. And I said, I like figuring out and designing to problem solve. And he mentioned to me, well, you might want to consider being an architect. And I was like, well, what is an architect? And so as I, discussed it further with him, and as I grew up, it's something that always stayed with me throughout elementary school, high school, and then, chose a college based around going to architecture school. So it's one of the best decisions I've ever made. And it was just something that I felt like I was almost led to be.
I've got into architecture starting in second grade. In the city I grew up in, there were house plans of the week in the paper on Fridays, and they fascinated me. And so my mother saw me staring at them one day and said, architects do those. And at that point, I made the decision that that's what I wanted to do. And so from that point on, my parents were very supportive, but they would take me to buildings that I wanted to go see, buy me books on architecture. I geared my high school education towards architecture, taking art classes, making sure I had math classes, moved into Auburn, started my career. And, about 25 years after my initial insight into the profession, I became a licensed architect. And it has been a blast. The days are never the same. The buildings may be the same, but it's always some different problem to resolve. And that's really one of my enjoyments, is working on trying to find solutions to on-site problems. That's the reason I do a lot of construction administration, which is monitoring the site as it goes under construction.
If you don't have a calling, I think, for it, with the amount of time, effort that you put into it, then you're not going to be well suited for this profession. I think it's a calling, and it's a decision that I made that I think was the right one, and I thoroughly enjoy being an architect.
The architecture pulls you in, you don't pull it in. It's really been a fun career.